So I just came from Zane's kindergarten graduation, like awards day. And so I'm a little emotional because my first grandson just graduated from. And so I wanted to pull up, this is my favorite, I think probably from all of literature, my favorite passage from all literature. And I pulled it up to read it. And I got a little emotional. So bear with me if I make it through it. We'll see. This is from Gentleman in Moscow. God, this is so, okay. One does not fulfill one's potential by listening to, I don't know how to say this. One does not fulfill one's potential by listening to Scheherazade in a gilded hall or by reading the Odyssey in one's den. One does so by setting forth into the vast unknown, just like Marco Polo when he traveled to China or Columbus when he traveled to America. Sophia nodded in understanding. The Count continued. I've had countless reasons to be proud of you, and certainly one of the greatest was the night at the I've had countless reasons to be proud of you, and certainly one of the greatest was the night of the conservatory competition. But in the moment I felt that pride was not when you and Anna brought home news of your victory. It was earlier in the evening when I watched you heading out of the hotel doors on the way to the hall. For what matters in life is not when we receive a round of applause. What matters is whether we have the courage to venture forth despite the uncertainty of the acclaim. If I'm to play in Paris, said Sophia after a moment, I only wish that you could be there in the audience to hear me. The Count smiled. I assure you, my dear, were you to play a chord on the moon, I would hear every chord. Isn't that so beautiful?
So sweet.
I know.
Oh, Mom, you're literally crying.
It's the best, description of a parent, how you feel as a parent.
Sweet.
It's you're so proud of your kids, and it's not that they win the award or they get the applause. It's just that they go forth and do it.
That's so sweet, Mom. This is supposed to be our fun podcast, so why are you crying? That was so sweet. But that shows you the impact that books can have and movies can have, and certain wording and phrasing that just hits you to your core on the human level. So I asked Mom to do this podcast because Mom is the biggest lover of books ever, as you can tell.
Well, I'm sure there's other bigger lovers of books.
Well, that I know. I don't know anyone besides John Luke that loves books like you love books. You're constantly reading. I love to read. I'm like, how do you, when do y'all do that? I don't even know when y'all read that much, but you do. You're always reading something. You're always learning something. And you remember, you recall a lot of things oh, I read this in this book, or that's a lot of where y'all's good advice comes from, or and whatnot.
It's kind of bad though, because it's whatever I'm into and reading is the thing I'm talking about all the time. And so
very true.
I'm oh, I learned this, or I read this, or whatever.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, when you got on the Jordan B. Peterson Kate, it was always talking about everything with Jordan B. Peterson.
It's true.
So today, welcome to the podcast. We are going to be talking about what books have impacted us the most, what TV shows we love the most, what we're currently reading or watching. Because, this podcast we were recording way before I have the baby. But by the time you guys listening to it, I will have had the baby, which is so crazy. And one of the things I was thinking recently was what am I going to watch whenever, I have the baby? What am I going to read? Because you have so much time, to just kind of sit there and you're feeding and you're watching and you're just chilling. I guess it is different now that I have little ones running around. It won't be as chill as it was the first time.
Yeah, you don't get to just sit and you don't get to quite as much when you have two toddlers.
Yes, also, that is very true. With a C-section, you kind of have to sit for a little while. So you do kind of
all help take care of the older two. So you can do that
a little bit. But it's so funny because I was thinking back, and this is not a TV show or anything, but because I had both the girls in May, it just so happened right after was the college baseball World Series, which is something I typically would not be interested in. But, my brother-in-law plays baseball, so I kind of got into it with him because he went to Omaha and their team won. So I was oh, this is so fun. Then whenever I had Honey, I was oh, this is so great. I'll get to watch this. I watched the whole thing, and I was so excited having Haven in May because I got to watch the whole thing.
That's fun.
And then this time I'm doing August, so I'm oh, I'm not going to have the College World Series to watch.
It comes on in August.
So what what am I going to watch? So that kind of got me thinking about what I'm watching, what we're reading, and you always have good recommendations. You just shared your favorite book quote that you could think of all time. It literally made you cry, which was really beautiful and really sweet.
Gentleman in Moscow.
Is that one of your favorites?
It's one of my favorite books for sure. If you haven't read that, read it. And I'm going to tell you, it's a big book. And so when you start, it's a little slow to begin with. It's kind of this slow, like beautiful book that you have to just stick with. And by the end, you just love the characters so much. And I mean, it made me cry and you just connect. I think that's one thing that I think is so beautiful about reading. I like to read a lot of memoirs and I like to read a lot of fiction too. And I think reading fiction and memoirs, you put yourself in those positions. It just gives you this greater capacity to like understand other people, have compassion for other people, and you feel like you kind of get to like walk in their shoes for that little bit. So I think not only do I just love to read, I actually think it's really important and good work.
It's true. Okay, so what are some of your favorite books of all time? And why?
Favorite books of all time. Okay, I actually have a little list.
I made a list too.
You made a list? Good. I did not make this today. I have this on my phone, so I was going to go back and look. One, so my favorite like childhood book, and I haven't read this in a long time, was The Secret Garden. I love that book. I think it's another one that's kind of just like slow and beautiful, but just has a lot of like depth and meaning in it. And I can't even honestly remember exactly what I love about it, but I loved it as a kid and I love it. I've read it, as an adult and was like, oh, this is a good book. It was like verified. That was a good one.
Like, oh, it really is that good.
Yeah. So that's one of my favorite kind of like childhood books. So I recommend everybody to read. And then impacting me kind of like, I feel like, different books impact you different stages of life. So I was like, wanted to pull this out and think about one that I know you started to read recently, but you were like, oh, it might be a little bit too hard and too heavy.
I'm still reading it.
Angel's Ashes.
Oh, no, I didn't. I quit on that one. That was too sad.
Angel's Ashes and Tis were two that were like, I think that was probably one of my early like memoirs. And I was like, whoa, it just gave you a different appreciation, helped you. I remember there was one moment in that book that impacted me where he grew up in this like really kind of poor environment and it was had a very, very difficult life. And he's going out, he's going to go out. I think that's when he's going to go to America. And he comes back and everyone treats him differently and is like not very nice to him. And he was like, I'm still the same person, but they saw him differently. And it's almost like they kind of wanted to pull him back to be like them.
Yeah.
And it was this, I don't know, I felt like I learned something in that moment about human nature, about like sometimes we like want people to say the same.
Yeah.
So we try to pull them back so they say the same and rather than like allow them to grow and change, or we treat them like they've changed whenever they really haven't changed. They're still the same person. They're just doing something different. So I think things like that kind of teach you stuff about human nature.
That's so true. Was that Angel's Ashes? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it was like really sad at the beginning and it had
sad.
something to do with pregnancy or baby.
Yeah.
And
It's hard.
was like just finding out we were pregnant and I was like, this is a little too much right now.
Yeah.
But I might return to it
Angel's
later.
Ashes and Tis, they're both his memoir. One's a continuation of the other. So I can't remember which one kind of delves into that. But anyway.
I'm still reading Infidel.
Oh, that one's so powerful.
Very intense. Okay, I actually have said this before on this podcast. I almost brought that book up and I didn't because I was like, I don't know. Like, I feel like it needs a disclaimer if I recommend it. And so now I can give my disclaimer recommendation since we're doing a whole podcast on book recommendations and movie and TV show. I think that it is so powerful, but disclaimer, it's very hard to listen to. I'm listening to it. And so, I mean,
I'll listen to
read
it also.
or listen to it. Not because it's hard to understand her, but because it's a very hard story and reality of what a lot of people are currently living, you know. I mean, we got to go to Mogadishu, Somalia and see kind of the lifestyle of a lot of the people. And this girl, Ayan Hersiali, is kind of telling about her life growing up in Somalia, but then also they moved a lot. and Muslim culture and growing up with her mom being very strict Muslim. And it's just a very intense book. And I'm not to like the break free part yet. So I'm still in like the intense moment because it's really, really long. I think I've listened for like 7 hours and I'm still like
it is. It's
in the
long,
hard part.
but it's so good.
But it's so good,
and
which you recommended.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very important. And she wrote another one too.
I was thinking about, her second one's so good too.
She's amazing.
Yeah, she's incredible. And she's recently come to Christianity and come to faith. So her whole story is really, y'all should just look her up, like YouTube or Ion Hersi and
her debate with Richard
Dawkins
is amazing. And when you listened to the book, she wasn't a Christian yet. You didn't start listening because she was a believer. You heard her speak somewhere.
Yeah, I think it's important to like it doesn't. I'm not like discriminatory. Like I only read things that are from people who think like I do or whatever. I think you can learn from different people.
All right, y'all know how it goes. You're studying for a test, you open your phone to take a break, and 2 hours later, you're lost in some random rabbit hole that doesn't leave you feeling better. Well, that's where Victory by Covenant Eyes comes in. It is a powerful app that monitors your screen activity and shares it with an accountability partner that you trust, someone who can actually help you stay on track and protect your heart from the junk that's way too easy to access online. So whether you've struggled with porn in the past or just want to build healthy screen habits, this app helps you do it with grace and support, not shame. Covenant Eyes can help you stay focused on your goals, your future, and all the things that matter. This is your time to shine, so take control of your screen time, friends. The reality is so many people, especially young people, are struggling with pornography. That's not just men. So many girls do too, and we need help. We can't do it alone. It's so much better when you have accountability, you have someone to help you walk through this. So don't be afraid to sign up, friends. This is like the place where freedom can start. So I cannot recommend Covenant Eyes enough. Go to covenanteyes.com/Sadie to learn more and start your journey towards freedom today. That's covenanteyes.com/Sadie. Or 2 years ago, Viola Davis's memoir.
I was going to mention hers.
Best memoir.
Ooh, it's so good.
Her voice, reading it is so good.
Yeah, you should listen to that one.
Does have some language, but it's great. And then also listen to Greenlight, which is Matthew McConaughey, which is so good to listen to because his voice too. But it was so funny because Christian was listening with me one day. He didn't know what I was listening to. And Matthew McConaughey is a little rough around the edges. And he was saying something crazy. And Christian was like, "What are you listening to?" I was like, "This is Matthew McConaughey's memoir." He's like, "I would never think you would listen to anything like that." And it's just, to me, I don't like watching inappropriate shows or anything like that. But if it's someone's life story and you're hearing about it, you learn so much, where they were at, why they did it, the context they were living in. You just have such an understanding for what people go through. Yeah. So memoirs is my favorite type of book as well.
So true. Taking that to the Bible, and I think we were going to talk about what has been impacted us in the Bible lately. Now that you say that, thinking about that, sometimes when you read the Bible, particularly the Old Testament, some of the people who are heroes of faith have very complicated life stories. You're like, whoa, that is not what you would think a man of God would do.
I struggle with David. Yeah,
David. Yes, exactly. Abraham. All these things that you read, when you read in the scripture of their stories, you're like, whoa. That's not what I've expected. Someone who God chose to be his person, So you understand that it's not just the perfect person that God chooses. He chooses flawed people, broken people who make mistake and bad decisions. And so the point of of the Bible is God's love for us, not our perfect actions towards him. It's his perfect love towards us.
Yeah. It's so cool with David because I've been reading through Psalms lately. I'm on 70, which there's a lot of Psalms, so I have a lot more to go. But I started a couple weeks ago, and it's just been great for me. It's been so good for my soul and just giving me words to pray and how to process things. But what's so cool is I've gotten more of an understanding on David because you read David's story, and it's oh man, he just falls, and he falls hard, and so many people are affected by it. And then yet he's a man after God's own heart. That's who he's known as, and the New Testament talks about David legend, it's not the bad parts. Then when I've been reading through the Psalms, I'm man, I see why he's a man after God's own heart, because his heart for the Lord was constantly like God was everything to him. Like God was everything.
Yeah.
God was who he went to rant. God was when he went to cry. God was who he went to laugh. God was who he went to rejoice. Like God was everything to him. And he was like constantly repenting, constantly turning, constantly asking God to help him. The ways that he even talked to God about his enemies just showed like the intimacy he had with God to be so real about people who he struggled with. He was not polished. He was not perfect, but he was like a real man pursuing the Lord in like the complexities of life. And I'm like, okay, that's why he's a man after God's own heart, which is so encouraging because it's like, might not all pan out perfect, probably won't, but like, how is your heart responding to life, you know, towards God? So I love that. My 3 favorite books I wrote down are The God Smuggler. It's my favorite book.
Oh, that's good.
That's a memoir. It is the coolest book ever.
Yes.
It is. I was like truly on the edge of my seat the whole time. And I listen to all my books. I don't really read the papers, I have to say, because that's just not how I learn the best.
That's all right.
But I listened and I was like, could not get enough of it. And I remember after I read that, I was like, I'm gonna listen to this book every single year. And I haven't, but I need to because it was like such good perspective on what it really looks like to really believe the Bible. Like, do you believe it enough to like take God at his word and like want to give the word? And the way him and his wife believed so much, like they sold their house just to have enough money to get more Bibles to print. Like that's wild.
Yeah.
And you know, it's so crazy. I was listening to The Hiding Place recently and was it The Hiding Place? Wait, Korie Robertson. Yeah, it was. And in her introduction, she talks about meeting Brother Andrew, who was the God smuggler.
Really?
Like she heard him speak or something.
Wow.
And he had like a significant, I think he helped her get her book published. It was some connection like that. I was like, that's crazy.
Amazing.
I never knew that.
The Hiding Place. If that's not on my list, I'm going to add that to it because that's one of
The Hiding Place. Yes.
That's such a good one.
Which I'm glad I said that because I need to circle back. I don't think I finished it. I've read it before, but I was rereading it. My other 2 favorites are actually fiction books, which is funny because I'm not really a fiction person, but they're like fiction based off of truth. Becoming Mrs. Lewis. I love that book.
Yes. I was going to bring up C.S. Lewis in this conversation because anything by C.S. Lewis really, but that one's not written by him. That's about their story, his life story, and him falling in love with his wife. Yes.
And it's like,
it's kind of like historical fiction.
Based off of truth because they have like so many of their letters they wrote to each other. And so they use their letters in the book and then they like fill in the gaps for what was maybe they were thinking or being said in the middle of their letter writing. It's just so sweet and I loved it so much. And then Redeeming Love. That book just got me. I actually did read that paper and I could not put that book down. I was like at Christian's family's house when I was towards the end of it. And I never can do this, but for some reason I could be in the middle of everyone in the living room and I would just be reading that book and like tears flowing. Like I was like lost in that book. It was just so beautifully written and powerful. Another really, really hard story with serious content, but very beautiful.
Yeah. That's so good.
You have any more on your top faves that you want to share?
Well, I was thinking about C.S. Lewis, and I was going to say bring up Mere Christianity. I think that's a really important book for everybody to read. C.S. Lewis is so, I think a lot of his stuff is so valuable because he came from this perspective. He didn't have any belief in God, and he came to his faith later in life, and he comes, I love to read from or like learn from people like that because it just comes from such a different perspective. I grew up having parents of faith, and so it's kind of just always was for me. So whenever you come to it from a whole different, like to where you had no belief to this, you see things differently. And I just love how he writes about that, about God and about faith. And Mere Christianity, I think, is a really important one. That's one of my favorites.
It's good. I
was thinking about 2 that impacted me not that long ago. So during kind of like the Duck Dynasty time periods, one was Love Does. You know, Bob Goff sent us his book.
Yes.
And he sent it to us kind of at the height of Duck Dynasty. Everything was happening. It was crazy. And we got it in the mail and I opened it and read it. And John Luke read it. And we both were just so impacted by it. And we were like, everybody has to read this book. And just that life of like saying like, I'm not going to just talk about loving my neighbor, but I'm really going to love my neighbor. And the way Bob wrote, each chapter starts with like, I used to think this, but now I know this. It's kind of this like humility of like, I used to think this was the way, but I've come to learn or whatever. And I just love the way he approached things and just told, and he has had a life of really, putting love into action. So that one, and I read these two kind of together. Don Miller's A Million Miles in 1,000 Years. I think that's the way it goes, something like that. It's I always get those confused. Like, it's 1,000 miles? Anyway, I think it's 1,000,000 miles in 1,000 years. But the beginning of his book, I'll never forget the very beginning. It starts off, it's like, a good story is not a man works his whole life, and at the end of it, he has a white picket fence and a Volvo. It's kind of like that doesn't make for a good story. So it also doesn't really make for a good life. Like your life is not about just like working for a thing like that, like thing that you think might be materially valuable or whatever. And he kind of talks about what makes a good life and tells a lot of his own life story. And so I thought that was a really good one. And I remember that intro and being like, okay, I'm here for this.
You always talk about that intro. You've said it before. Like, even whenever I've written books over the past few years, you're like, okay, let's think about how he did that intro.
Yeah.
Like, what gripped me about that intro?
Yes.
I need to read it. I've actually never read that one.
It's a great one.
I was thinking about one of the most impactful books for me in leadership was Dare to Lead. Daring Greatly was great too, but Dare to Lead was really good for me, especially like stepping into leadership at a young age.
Yeah.
That just gave me a lot of clarity and confidence and a lot of really good advice. So Brene Brown is a great writer.
That's a great one.
That was really good. Okay, what are you currently reading?
Currently, well, you said Jordan Peterson. I've been reading We Who Wrestle with God ever since the beginning of this year. It's kind of like my morning,
It's a long one too.
It's a long one, and I'm, like 20 minutes in the morning reading, and it's really good because he's another one that didn't necessarily like always have faith, and so this is about the biblical truths throughout the Bible, and so he starts in Genesis, and you just go through, and he's talking about the biblical stories, and it opens you up to a whole new perspective, and but the one that like you might not have thought of before, and it's making me go back and kind of dive into those early stories in the Bible, Abraham and Isaac and all of those early stories, Joseph, and
that's cool.
And look at them in a new way.
Really cool. Y'all know how August feels. Summer technically still here, but the calendar is already jam-packed. School drop-offs, last-minute beach days, and trying to squeeze in all the fun. It can be a lot, and that's why I keep an Element stick pack in my bag at all times. Electrolytes are the secret sauce to real hydration, and Element is packed with them. No sugar, no weird ingredients, just pure support for your brain, your body, and your energy levels. Electrolyte imbalance can lead to things like headaches, fatigue, cramps, or even brain fog, so it's no wonder I feel so much better when I'm on top of it. I normally go for the raspberry salt or the watermelon after a workout or big activity, or even just, living a day in the summer in Louisiana. Christian's still obsessed with the black cherry lime sparkling cans, and we have a whole stash of them in our fridge. Since adding Element to our daily routine, we don't get those afternoon crashes, and for me, my muscle cramps have gotten so much better. It's such a game changer. I love Element. I truly do have a pack every single day, and I just feel so much better. If I don't have my Element, I start to actually feel the difference as far as like I get my leg cramps, fatigue, all the different things, and I'm like, oh, I'm probably dehydrated. So you get your free Element sample pack with any purchase at drinkelement.com/whoa. Try Element totally risk-free. If you don't like it, they'll refund your order, no questions asked. That's drinkelement, drinklmnt.com/whoa. So this is so fun, like this whole story about why me and Christian are reading the book that we just started reading. But Miss Tara, she's been on the podcast before, and we actually talked about this a little bit when she was on. We did like a counseling session with her recently because she came in town to do the podcast. And let's meet with you while you're here. She's been Christian and I's counselor since pre-marriage. Like she did our premarital counseling and always just been like a voice to go to, which is so cool because she's been with us for like, I guess 6 years now. So she's just really tracked with us. And she was like, this is so crazy. She was pulling out, she always like grabs books that she feels like the Lord leads her to study before she talks to us. Like if she can give any advice or like point us to anything. And she like was going to tuck all her books back in, and one was like sticking out with a little note. And so she was like going to put it back, and then she saw it was Love and Respect, that book called Love and Respect. Who wrote that? I can't remember who wrote it.
Greg.
It was Love and Respect. And so she pulls it out. She was like, oh, this is such a great one. Opens it, and it was addressed to me and Christian. Like, she has no idea, no memory.
She had it at her house?
At her office.
What?
And we never got it. She was like, I have no idea why I have this. It was like to Christian and Sadie, and it was a note from him.
Oh my goodness.
Like wishing all the happiest marriage. We never got it. And this is 5.5 years later. She gives it to us.
Wow.
And she was like, I just feel like the Lord, like, obviously put this on my, like, in my hands to give to y'all to read right now. And so I just started that, which has been.
Dr. Emerson Eggerichs. Yes. He and his wife, they're the sweetest couple. It's one of those, like, you want to follow and listen to people that
because
you know.
It shows in their life.
Yes,
yeah.
that is showing in their life. Like, this is like, I actually respect what you have to say because it's shown in your life, and they are those people. So I think that book is
really cool.
Really good one. Willie and I read that years and years ago. Yes.
That's cool. No, we just started it, so early into it. But even like the first piece of advice I've gotten, it was saying like, I'm going to botch this. It's not exactly how he said it, but it's like, you can be right, but at the wrong tone. So basically like you're saying, what you're saying is right, but you're saying it with such a rude tone that I can't receive it. So it's wrong.
It's good.
And, I was like, that is really good advice because I can so see myself doing that. Like, I have something good to say, but I didn't say it the best way, so you didn't even hear it, you know?
Yeah.
So that one, okay, Infidel, which is taking me forever, so it's slow fade. And then I will say one that I tried to get into, but I just can't get into The Nightingale, which y'all love so much.
I loved it.
I know. I'm struggling.
You just have to get back to it.
Okay.
Which I love all of those books. Nightingale is one from like World War II era and the era of the Holocaust, which is such a hard time period.
I do love listening to, I didn't even talk about Torture for Christ, too.
I haven't read
one of my favorite ever.
Tattooist of Auschwitz is in that category. Nightingale. Those are also good. The Zookeeper's Wife. From that time period.
I've seen the movie. I haven't read the books.
Yeah, those are all really powerful books that are hard, hard to read. And because that was such a terrible, terrible time in our world, but important for us to not forget.
Yeah.
You know?
What did I just read? Hold on. Why am I not thinking of it? Oh my gosh. This was like the best book ever. This might be my favorite book ever. The Happiest Man on Earth.
Oh, that's so good.
That was so good.
Did I give that to y'all?
You did, but then I ended up listening to it.
Okay, good. Yeah.
And that was incredible. Yeah, Mom gives us a book every Christmas. And it's like a book that impacted you.
Do a book that impacted me like that year. Yeah. And that was one.
Got me. Oh my gosh, it's such a good story. And highly recommend it. I was like, why can I not think of it? But Torture for Christ was like very impactful, really tough. I cried a lot during that one. Happiest Man on Earth, very tough, but like you're like, you feel like this is
meaning. There's
so
meaning. If there's meaning in life, you can do anything.
There's any hope, you know, and the will to live is wild through that whole story, and how he like even survives at the very end. I think they said whenever he was like captured, like caught by the Americans to kind of get back better, he weighed like 83 pounds.
Wow.
Crazy.
Wow. Unbroken.
Oh, yeah.
That one is so powerful. There's a movie about it, and the movie's good, but not close to the book.
It's never
you
as
gotta
good
read
as
the book.
Yes.
The book is so good. I love those just powerful stories of people who survive things that you think you can't. You think you could never live through, and you hear people live through that, and you realize like, okay, we're actually a lot stronger than we think.
So true.
There's one called Where the Wind Leads that I love. I want to make into a movie someday. If anybody hears this, that's on my list. So like, I want to make that into a movie. It's about this family that escapes from Vietnam during a very hard time there, and just what they survived is miraculous.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's so cool. Okay, so now let's get into TV shows, which I will say our books are a lot more intentional than probably our TV shows. We're like, it's
TV
the
shows are
will
fun.
to live, it's the inspiration, it changes your
Yeah.
life. And they were like, TV shows, let me tell you about Friday Night Lights. But
That's
hey,
one of my favorites. That's on my list.
that is so good. I specifically remember this. I was in high school and we all started getting obsessed with Friday Night Lights. And Two Mama got so obsessed with that show that we were in New York. And I was sleeping, like we were sharing a room, and I woke up and Two Mama was under the sheets with her phone watching Friday Night Lights. I was like, oh my gosh. We love that.
We did. It was actually after I had my hysterectomy that I watched it, and I was
It's always
like,
after the surgeries.
the surgery when you go like down, you don't have anything to do. I was obsessed. Yeah, that was
a
I
good
feel like
show.
that might have been my first like binge watch show because
We
back
could
then
not
you
stop.
didn't like binge. I don't know. That
That
become
was
a
to me.
thing.
That was around the binge era, like
yeah, probably so.
high school, and maybe that's just high school. But it was like Grey's Anatomy, and these shows are not shows I'm recommending. I'm just
yeah.
saying this is what we watched. One Tree Hill drama. It was bad. I look back at that and I'm like, oh my gosh, if Honey was watching that in high school, I'd be like, no, ma'am.
I know.
We all did. That's
protective of y'all in that.
We've got a lot more serious about what we watch.
Well, I think actually part of that was doing that Dynasty made us more serious about what we watched because we like saw the power of entertainment and how like our show was shaping people. Then you're like, if like our show is impacting people in that way, how much is like entertainment impacting us in a negative way or in a way that with our values or whatever that we don't really want. So I think that actually made us a little bit more like discerning about the things that we watched in our house because we weren't super careful about that. And I think
that's a hard
there's
balance.
part of it is just, allowing freedom to learn and grow in those kind of things. It's not like hard and fast rules or whatever. I think is, that's how we always did it. Everybody's house is different, but we always kind of kept things loose. We didn't have like even hard and fast rules about like what you could watch or anything like that. We just tried to use wisdom and discernment as we grew. We changed.
Which I think like that also goes to show like sometimes, I mean, when you grow in your faith, you grow in your relationship with the Lord, the Holy Spirit can convict you in ways that you didn't feel conviction before. Yeah. Like, I didn't feel bad for watching Grey's Anatomy before, and now I literally, as an older adult, could not watch it the way I watched it then, because like I actually feel like, no, I don't want to actually see that, which is so crazy, and I'm glad for that. Like, I don't shame myself for saying, oh, I watched that. I'm just like, man, glad I grew in that, And I am more picky on the shows that I watch, but I do kind of have this hard balance with shows because I'm like, or not even a balance. It's more just like an annoyance with shows out there because I'm like, I want to watch a funny show. But funny shows oftentimes are not like very appropriate. And then I'll be like asking other friends who, have like a stricter, I don't know, conviction when it comes to what they watch. I'm like, what are you watching? And it's always like these cheeseball shows like that are not, you're like, this is just not really entertaining. So I just typically go for more things like Survivor, Shark Tank, American Idol, like real life things.
Family Feud.
But Family Feud, always and every night go to. But a couple shows that I loved. Crash Landing on You, my all-time favorite show, because it was so clean. It was so good.
It was really sweet. And
My mom said it is like a literal cheese tray. It's so cheesy. But I said it's not normal cheese. It's sharp cheddar.
One time Sadie was
clever.
saying that it was not cheesy. I was like, it is a literal cheese tray. But it is clever.
It's cheesy, but not like Sweet Magnolia cheesy.
No,
not like,
it's clever and funny and all those things.
Yes.
But it's cheesy.
It is. Not Virgin River cheese.
Virgin River's pretty cheesy, but I love Virgin River too.
I do love Virgin River, but got a little too dramatic. Like the first season I loved, and then it was like every bad thing. Like if that person's getting in the car, they're having a wreck. If they get on a plane, it's crashing. If she's sick, she has cancer. It's never like chill. It's always the worst case scenario.
It is true.
I'm like, dang, does everything bad happen in this town? Parenthood, one of my favorites
I love
ever.
Parenthood. I feel like I want to watch that one again.
Ever.
That's probably was my favorite ever. I remember watching the first episode and being like, I don't know if I'm going to like this because the kids, the teenagers were like so mean to their mom in that very first episode. And I was like, I don't want to watch kids being like disrespectful to their parents or whatever. I remember thinking that when I first watched it. But then I stuck with it and I loved Parenthood so much.
Good.
It's so good.
You love all the people. And then like the theme song, it just gives you all the feels. I need to rewatch that one. Yeah. It's time too because I've forgotten.
Yeah. Back on the train of things that I don't know if we should recommend or not, but it was such a good one, Jane the Virgin.
I didn't like that one.
What?
I wanted to because y'all thought it was so funny.
It's
but
hilarious. It's so clever and so funny.
That was too much for me.
It was.
That was too much.
Oh my gosh. I was obsessed with Jane the Virgin. I loved it. We were like doing our little, what character are you on Jane the Virgin?
You love Jane the Virgin.
Bella and I were so obsessed with it.
I know y'all were.
It was so good. And of course, it got ridiculous.
It got ridiculous.
Those shows do get ridiculous.
First seasons are like the best typically of those type of shows. Yeah. And I
never quit on it. I watched the whole thing. But it was meant to be ridiculous. Like that's the point of it. Which now our new show is going to be out. So, you'll have Dynasty to watch, if you need a little stupidity, a little.
By the time I have this baby, the first season will be over.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I'll be just in time for
you can go watch
Dancing with the Stars, my fall shows. This is the perfect time to refresh your quiet time and journaling routine. And y'all, Mr. Pen is my go-to for that. I absolutely love their pastel highlighters. I mean, seriously, how could you not? They're so cute. These colors are so pretty, and I've given them to so many friends. It's honestly such a great gift because it inspires people to get into the word, and it's just so cute. They're always amazed that the highlighters and pens don't bleed through the super thin pages because that's something that I feel like many of us have just gotten used to, that pens bleed through the pages and you ruin the next page, but you don't have to anymore. I also love the gel pens and the transparent sticky notes. All the tools I use are actually in my journaling kit bundle on Mr. Pen's website. And I know you're going to love it as much as I do. So we have highlighters. Here's just 2 of the colors. Super cute, really fun. They even have Bible tabs with the books of the Bible on it. The sticky index tabs make it so easy to keep your place. I'm going to show you too just what the pens really do and how they don't bleed through the pages. And so if I'm like going to draw a heart on the side, which I often do, super cute little green heart on the Bible. Well, the beautiful thing about this is you cannot see it on the next page. And so we love that. So there's even a journaling Bible that you can get as well that has so much space for notes and doodles and all the things. That's a part of my kit as well. And they're founded by Christian teachers right here in Louisiana. So, I love that. They've also got over 1 million 5-star reviews. So it is not just me who is obsessed with them. You guys are going to absolutely love it. And so here's something special just for you. You can actually get 10% off my favorite supplies and journaling Bible when you use the code SADIE10 checking out. Go to sadiepens.com. You'll be directed to my favorites. That's sadiepens.com. Use the code SADIE10 at checkout. I even made a little bundle with my go-to journaling supplies like I mentioned, so you can grab exactly what I use and make it your own. These really do make the perfect gifts, so y'all go check it out. That's the beauty of watching shows like American Idol or Dancing with the Stars. It's like seasonal.
You have something to look forward to.
Yeah, you have something to look forward to. And Duck Dynasty will be that for people now too. Okay, another one of my favorite shows, but it's like one I will probably never watch again because it is way too much of an emotional commitment. But This Is Us.
Oh, that was great.
Fantastic show. Like if you haven't watched This Is Us,
I don't think I ever watched the very last season. I got a little annoyed with it at the end.
During 2020, it got annoying.
That
was rough because
but it was
there was so much heaviness going on in the world. And instead of it just being a show you can go to and not think about the heaviness, they played into the heaviness. So they went through COVID too and went through all the things on the show. So it's just sad.
Yeah.
And I felt like I felt like a lot of people tapped out there. It got really, really sad.
Yeah.
And then it ended great.
We
need to come back for the ending.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, it was so good. But the beginning, that first season is probably one of the best first seasons of any TV show ever. That first episode, I think I rewatched 3 times with different people because I wanted to see at the end.
You did. You had already watched it, and then when you watched it with me, yes.
The song really too that always comes on. I love when shows do that. Crash Landing on You does this, and This Is Us. It has the same song at the emotional moments.
Yes.
I love when shows do that.
I know. I tried to do that for our show. Oh. Shout out Donna Stewart. She wrote us a song about our family that I tried to get. I keep trying to get on our show, but there is a song that's in our show that. But
that one was
I wanted
really
that too.
Good.
I know it was. Maybe next season.
Yeah.
Season 2, we'll get it in.
I am hoping to maybe restart Parenthood because that was a really, really good one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really
I'm not
have
in one
anything
right now that I'm like watching, but Dad and I've kind of been into watching like some documentaries lately.
I love
We watched, me too.
Mm-hmm.
We watched The Biggest Little Farm. If you haven't seen that, it's so good. The Martha Stewart documentary.
Oh, that was good. That was
That
sad.
was good. It was.
To me, that was really sad because I felt really
Mm-hmm.
sad for her.
Yeah.
I actually started praying for her after saying that, and I've had dreams. I had a dream. Martha Stewart, if she sees this, I kind of hope she doesn't.
She come on your podcast.
A surprise. I had a dream. I sat beside her at an award show.
Oh, cool.
And we got into like the best conversation.
That's so cool. That's awesome.
I was like, Lord, let it be.
That's so good. We watched one about a cult recently that was like, ooh, it was good. I can't remember what it was though. I can't remember the name of it.
You and Dad watch a lot of shows together.
No, okay. There is hope in your life. If you are a person that's married and you and your spouse does not have things that they watch together.
That's me right now.
Y'all,
give me hope.
Okay, I'm trying to give you hope because like we did not. Like Willie he watched all the sports and he watches like Dateline and stuff like that. And he doesn't really he doesn't get into American Idol or Survivor or some of those other shows. So we never really had like our shows until the last few years. It's been fun.
That's sweet.
We
Okay,
started
me and
into
both
some stuff.
love like Survivor and American
Yeah, y'all have some
like
things.
Series. Like he does not care to watch The Good Place with me.
He watched Virgin River with you.
He loved Virgin River, but that was after I had Haven. So it was like he was with me. You know?
Yeah.
But then
hold out hope. Someday there might be things.
And then I don't really like
empty
his
nesters.
shows. Like they're too like
that's the thing.
intense.
Oh, we just watched House of David.
Yeah.
If you haven't watched
House of
that,
David,
definitely go watch that.
I'm going to watch House of David.
Good.
Maybe that will be my show.
House of David, that is a good one.
Okay.
Yes.
What about movies? All-time favorite movies. What movie just struck you?
Favorite movies. Okay, I actually have a list of this from. I made this a long time ago. Let me look at my notes in my phone when I made this.
When I made my favorite movies list, it was probably so long ago. There's no telling what I said.
You know what? I wish your notes in your phone wouldn't like update to the date that you changed it.
I
wish
I
it
hate that.
kept it when you wrote it from the first place.
Sometimes
really, because
I don't
of that?
want it to change.
Yeah, I was gonna look and tell you when I actually made this list. It was a long time ago.
Oh, mine is way outdated.
Yeah, mine's
this is 2016. I'm like, when did I like this? This is when I graduated high school. No wonder.
What did you like? What was your favorite movie then?
This is the most random list.
My list is super random too. Tell me.
Okay, I wrote The Blind Side, which I still love The Blind Side.
It's a great movie.
The Help, still love The Help.
Movie.
Okay, it's about to get a little bit random up in here. Mamma Mia, that's pretty good. When in Rome, so random.
That was a good movie though.
That's not my favorite movie. It's good, like not worthy to be on like the favorite.
I like that one.
The Intern, that is a great movie.
Anne Hathaway, and that was good.
Hot Pursuit.
That was hilarious.
Okay.
You and I love that movie together.
I saw Reese Witherspoon in that movie and thought I could have been her.
Yes.
That character she played.
You could have played that
play
character. That was so funny.
I still quote that actually often, things she said.
That was a great one.
Okay, Princess Diaries, because I
That's
had
a great
preached on
movie.
that so many times. I wrote Ramona and Beezus, which I don't even remember now. And which
That's
is
a good movie.
I know, but I don't
Selena
even
Gomez,
like. Yes, and I wrote her as someone I love being in movies. I wrote like some of my favorite actresses. And I said my favorite motherly figures in movies: Sandra Bullock and Jennifer Garner. I was like very specific. My favorite actresses: Emma Stone and Reese Witherspoon. Comedians: Melissa McCarthy. It's like I don't know how I got on this kick. But my current favorite movie is Top Gun 1 and 2. Like,
those are great. Those are so good. Yes. Those are great.
House.
Great movies. Those are great. That's so funny.
funny.
Okay, my list is hilarious too. Like I obviously wrote this when y'all were kids because it's all kids movies. Right? That's my favorite movies. Okay, series of unfortunate events.
I was gonna say for my favorite books, I remember Junie B. Jones.
Yes, those are all great.
Series of unfortunate events.
Great book and great movie. I love that. Nanny McPhee.
I love Nanny McPhee.
This is like kids movies. Percy Jackson. Remember that very first Percy Jackson? That was so good.
That was really good.
This is all kids ones. And then I had Aristocats and Robin Hood. Those are like
I cannot get the girls to like Aristocats.
I know.
I think it's because the cartoon is so
old. It's
but
so
they
different.
love like Sleeping Beauty and Cinderella, but Aristocrat is a little bit too.
It was such a cute one. Okay. And then I love the new Cinderella, the live action Cinderella.
Because it says strong and kind, but it's
it's something like strong and kind. It's about it's almost the same thing. Yeah.
Take courage and be kind. Something like that. Something like that.
Have courage and be kind.
Have courage and be kind.
Yeah.
That's it.
That was so good. A more adult one that I liked, that I loved, was that maybe About Time.
Oh, yeah, that's
good.
good.
Really good movie. Has a great message. Really, I love that movie. There's a quote from that movie that I love that I can't remember at the moment, but there is a quote from that movie that's so good. Oh, Brother, Where Art Thou? Hilarious. I remember whenever Dad and I watched that movie for the first time, that was one we went back to the theater because we wanted other people to see it because we thought it was so good. And we
used to
loved
sing
it.
that.
Yes, we loved the soundtrack. We listened to the soundtrack. We loved that movie.
Is that where I went down to the
River to Pray?
I went down to the river to pray. We'd sing that all the time.
So good. Okay, favorite comedy. This is ridiculous. Besides Over the We're Out There, that was a comedy too, kind of. But Dumb and Dumber.
Dumb and Dumber was our family movie. We loved Dumb and Dumber.
So funny. Serious movies, Zookeeper's Wife and Good Will Hunting. Those are both.
Oh my gosh.
Hunting
Good Will Hunting
rough, the language, but
one of the best
really
movies
powerful,
ever.
really great movie. Oh, and then this is back to a kids movie, was Babe.
Aw,
Babe.
Babe.
So
That's so sweet.
I love that. So this is like super random. It's like kids. Obviously, I wrote it a long time ago.
Well, if my favorite movie, if we're talking about right now, it'd be like Moana. It'd be like
exactly.
Yeah, but I did love Top Gun 1 and 2 because it was like core memory. When Top Gun 2 was coming out, that was like right when everyone was like starting to get out more after the pandemic. And I had never seen Top Gun 1. So me and Christian watched it, and then we went to the theater to see Top Gun 2, and it was packed theater. And then everyone like clapped at the end. So it was like nostalgia.
I feel like, when Top Gun 2 came out, that was just such the perfect time. Everyone needed like feel good movie. They needed to go to the theaters, and
those
that
are
was
some of the best
memory.
Movie theater moments. Also, Spider-Man 3 or something came out, and it was like Homecoming.
That was so good.
When all the
Spider-Man,
and that was right after the pandemic, and everyone was like, "Whoa!"
I love that movie. I like all the Marvel movies too. Like I love all of those. Will and I always, I love to go to those. Also the Mr. Rogers, the one that was the kind of documentary, the documentary one. I remember that was really powerful.
Was so good.
After it was over, like we were all like just crying in the theater and didn't want to get up.
It was so good. I actually went back to that and took a notebook.
Yeah.
And actually made
really
notes.
Powerful, maybe.
And then I bought the Mr. Rogers Effect book. Like I was all in. I was like, I'm totally all in. Whenever the Infinity Wars, the Marvel one came out, was it Infinity Wars or Endgame? I can't remember. I think it was Endgame. And me and Christian went to like the midnight premiere. Yeah. And it was so funny because we were running late and we had bought our tickets. Well, of course, someone took our seats and they were like good. We're like, oh, shoot. So then we got stuck on the front row. So we're like front row, midnight premiere. And it was so funny. It ended up being like the best blessing in disguise because we had the funniest guys behind us. And like Gamora comes out, she's green. And someone's like, dang, Gamora looking good. And we like still talk about that.
So funny.
It's so funny.
So I would always take Will to the midnight showing, like, and John Luke, John Luke and Will, we'd always go to the midnight showing the night before or whatever. And I remember whenever they got old enough to like drive themselves and I didn't have to take them to the midnight showing, I remember being like, okay, this is like, I'm okay with this as a mom. It's kind of sad because this was like special. I got to do that with them. And I mean, they still obviously let me go with them, but it was like, they don't need me to take them to the movie anymore. It's like that rite of passage.
Back in the day, it was weird how like midnight premieres, I will never forget, like when Twilight era was happening.
Oh, Twilight.
Like,
we love Twilight.
The lines would be down the like outside.
It would.
Like,
That's
for
true.
The midnight. Remember? Like I remember One Direction too. When the One Direction, I don't know what his documentary came out. Yeah. It was like crazy. Movie theater was just packed.
Really?
Like,
I don't remember seeing that one. I remember the Justin Bieber one. Yes.
It was just packed. Those are so fun.
I loved all those like Twilight, Divergent, Hunger Games.
Those are good.
That whole little grouping.
Yeah. One thing I've never seen is I've never seen the Lord of the Rings. I've never seen the Harry Potters. I've only seen certain Star Wars, and every time I always like tell Christian, like, should we watch Lord of the Rings? He's like, no. Like should we watch?
So
I want to.
I have to confess this about Lord of the Rings. Like, I want to love it, but I go to sleep in it every time. Like,
Well,
I've never made
shocking.
it through. I know, but like those are ones that are like, John Luke loves all of those things in the fantasy realm, and I've tried to read. Like, I love the Harry Potter movies, and I read those books, but like J.R. Tolkien is like on the realm of C.S. Lewis. They were friends, so like I want to love his writing too, but I just can't get into it. I start to read them and then I don't get them.
That's like John Luke recommends all these fantasy books to me, and I'm like, John, I have such a hard time because I already have a hard time with words, and these are made up words.
His fantasy books are like so long.
What am I supposed to imagine? There's nothing to imagine in my head.
There's one. Oh, I'll tell you one you should do though. This is like intro into fantasy world that you will love. It's short. It's so good. John Luke gave it to me. It's called The Slow Regard for Silent Things. I actually have it on my list as one of my favorite books.
Really?
It is just really just different, and it's beautiful, and I think you will love it.
I'm going to do it. If it's short, I can do it.
It's short.
It's short. Okay.
It's like an odd book, but...
Well, John Luke doesn't recommend very normal things.
Yeah, that's
true. If it's a John Luke recommendation, it might be a little odd, and that's okay. Yeah. This is so like fun. I love hearing all of the recommendations. We'll try to make a little list for y'all at some point, or maybe AI can do that for us. Chat, can you make a little list? Can you make this into a PDF for our listeners to download? But I hope this gave you some inspo for some fall shows to watch, or some books to read, some movies to watch. As we kind of said, some of them are not recommendations.
We might need a messy conveation about like what we watch.
I know. I mean, we've kind of talked about that a lot, because I'm like, I am actually very careful with what I watch, because we do believe entertainment not only has the power to shape us, it does shape us.
It is shaping us.
It is shaping us. And so always, approach what you watch with intentionality. Always approach what you read with intentionality. Even like Mom said, Angela's Ashes is a great book, and it's something I want to read, but at the time it was making me feel like anxiety because of the just state I was in. And so I think that whether it's even a good book or a good meaning book or a good meaning show, you do need to be intentional with where your spirit's at, and that's always something to do with wisdom and guidance. And everyone's going to fall under a little bit different boundary lines, and that's okay. Respect people for where they're at and let them be where they're at. I remember whenever all my best friends were watching a show and I decided to tap out, and I was like, I hate that, because I want to be in like the conversation, but it's always worth it to go in peace and live in peace. And so hope this gave you some good recommendations to fill in some of that free time in your life.